Today I will be talking about the gender pay gap in our workforce. This is a woman that just had a baby. She didn't receive paid family leave from her job, so she settled for taking time off unpaid. However, at the same job, a father received a fatherhood bonus for becoming a parent, while this woman did not. According to Gender Action Portal, mothers face penalties in hiring, starting salaries, and perceived competence, while fathers can benefit from being a parent. You may wonder, why is this the case? Let's look into the problem of the gender pay gap a little further. The gender pay gap in the workforce has been an issue in our world for many years, and there are several solutions to counter this unfair problem. I personally have seen this issue in previous establishments that I have worked at, and after doing extensive research, I believe that I know enough about this topic, along with my personal experience, to accurately report my findings. Women in the workforce experience the effects of the gender pay gap all over the world. There are many myths surrounding the gender pay gap, and according to Elevest, only 61% of men believe that they make more money than women for doing the same jobs. I would like for you all to take a moment and think about yourself, your parents, your relatives, and your friends and your jobs. Have you ever noticed a difference in salaries when it comes to gender? Do you think that the gender pay gap is a myth? Well, I'm here to tell you that by the end of this speech, you'll be thoroughly educated on the effects of the gender pay gap, and I hope that I will be able to change the way you view the workforce of our world. Let's get started. Now that you know a little about our topic, let's first take a look at the problem. There are many problems with the pay difference between women and men in our workforce. The statistics for the gender pay gap in 2020 are very interesting. According to the Chieftain Press website, on average, a woman makes $37,800 a year, while a man makes $40,400 a year, with women making 77 cents for every dollar a man makes. This difference adds up yearly. The same site also explains that this pay gap doesn't account for the difference in pay between African American and Latino women. This bar graph you see on the screen shows that for every dollar a man makes, Caucasian women make 77 cents, African American women make 69 cents, and Latino women make 67 cents. This website goes into depth about the argument that women have jobs that pay less an hour, so that is the reason for the pay gap. However, the American Association of University of Women's Studies shows that men and women in the same exact position and occupations still are part of the pay gap where women are paid less. It has been half a century since discrimination for pay was made illegal in the United States, but our workforce has yet to become equal. According to AAUW.org, there are more women than men that have a higher education, but this doesn't mean higher or equal pay for women. Women hold nearly 2/3 of the outstanding student debt in the United States. This graph shows what the projected estimate for women's debt to come in the near years will be $1 trillion compared to men at $550 billion. Women have a harder time paying off student loans because of this pay gap. The pay gap affects women throughout their lifetime, even after they stop working. According to AAUW.org, women also receive less in Social Security and end up with only 70% of what men do in retirement funds. This map of the United States from HowMuch.com shows the gender pay gap throughout our country for the top 2% of earners. The higher the wage, the larger the pay gap. The dark burgundy that you see on the majority of the states is the highest pay gap at 60 to 80% difference in pay. And according to the same website, they pulled these statistics for this map from the United States Joint Economic Committee. This committee is a group of U.S. senators that specifically study the gender pay gap in the United States. As you can see, North Carolina stands at almost 64% of a pay gap between men and women. Despite all of these unbelievable statistics, the gender pay gap is still a huge problem that has not countered enough change in our workforce. As AAUW.org says, employer practices of using previous salary history to set future pay during the hiring process is the root of the problem. To rely on a previous salary history, you would need to assume that the salary was fairly established in the first place. However, this is not always the case. This causes the pay gap to continue and worsen regardless if you are switching jobs or not. This same website provides many great resources with information on the current updates in the workforce and Congress on the gender pay gap issue. Do you agree that there should be equal pay and equal employment opportunities no matter who you are? Regardless if you're a woman or not, you have women in your life that are experiencing the effects of the gender pay gap. On this same website, there is a Paycheck Fairness Act that AAUW.org wants to see passed. This act provides women with the information and tools they need to challenge the pay gap discrimination and also to provide their employers with facts to comply with the law. AAUW also supports fair gender retirement security, paid leave, and health care for women and men. Now that we have looked at the different factors that go into the gender pay gap, I hope that you have gained some valuable information about this persistent problem in our workforce. AAUW.org is a great website that I discovered through my research. It has many different issues in our world, and it has unbiased information about them with statistics and maps and different things that are happening also in the government to change these issues. So I recommend that everybody check out that website as well. They even have information for civil rights issues as well that I looked into that was interesting. I want you to notice going in the future at your job or your family or friend's job the difference in pay between genders. Know your rights and know what you can do to fight this issue. I hope that one day this issue will be extinguished from our workplace altogether because I believe that everyone deserves equality in the workforce and their salaries. Thank you.